Hey everyone, it's Jawan, Simple Syrup. So, something I've been always dealing with, which is always funny to me, is when I have a conversation with someone and they're like, why do you always go so deep? And my question back to them is, why do you always want to stay so shallow? Everything in life comes back to the elements. So, the perfect example to use is the ocean. It's deep, it's mysterious, it's volatile, it's beautiful. It's all of these things. It provides life, it gives life, it takes life. It is the cycle of life. You're standing on the beach, which is the earth. It is necessary, it's solid, it's comforting. You know where the earth is and you don't have to worry about it. You can see it everywhere you go. That's comforting to people. But the problem with that comfort is you will always stay on that surface, shallow level, not knowing the answers. You're just living not knowing answers. You go off of what someone else says. You don't ask or investigate their credentials. You just say, okay, well, this person seems like someone I should trust and they sound like they're educated on the topic. So yeah, I believe it. You need to understand that information and knowledge is just that perspective of what someone else gave you. You can reflect on it and decide what to do with it. It's not an end all, tell all fact or truth. In order to investigate and understand what is truth, you have to go out and actually find out for yourself. If you're always on the shallow end, you're always going to stay there. Water's just going to stay at your ankles. Yeah, you can see the water and it's cool and you see what lives there and the few creatures that decide to come close to you. You're like, oh, I know something different now. And then you run with that. There's so much more life. That was just a little snippet of what life exists. And there's so much more questions and answers that you could get, and you can expand your mind and help others do so. The one thing that drives me nuts is that people don't see that staying shallow on an emotional level always is going to always get you shallow answers and shallow results. You have race issues now where people, simple, it doesn't matter what race they are. You have racists who want to talk about race issues and figure out, why is this an issue? Why can't I say this? Why is this such a big deal? And then you have the other side, because you can't say it, you can't do it. But then if you're not giving them the chance to understand, take that depth in and say, you know what, this is going to be rocky. It might be messy. I don't like going this deep because I shouldn't have to. But guess what? I see that you are struggling and you want to learn how to swim. And instead of watching someone flounder and just get worse and worse and worse and just keep not understanding and believing this is their truth, you could take them into those deep waters of their soul and help them figure out, this is where other people come from. This is where we came from because of our history. This is our history combined, and this is how it happened to us, and this is how we can fix it. If you give that knowledge and that education, then you would have less bigotry. You would have less biases and hang-ups and stereotyping, because then we would understand each other, because we got the real answer from someone who's actually experiencing it versus someone who's like, oh yeah, I saw it on TV. Oh, I have that one friend who's of that one background, of that one color or race. Yeah, they told me this is true. You might have misinformation for someone who don't even love themselves, but yet you're going to stigmatize a whole group. It's the same thing with sexism, okay? That whole, oh, well, this happened to this girl or this happened to this guy. Well, what were they doing? What were they wearing? Why is it so quick to justify the bystander or the person victimizing versus trying to find out the victim's issues and why these two things are happening? Because there's a condition in the mindset that makes people believe, well, they were asking for it if they did this. No one asks us, you may not have to say, no one asks for abuse, no one asks for mistreatment, no one asks for discrimination. You're just born into these situations and then you figure it out as you grow up. Now, going back to the shallow and deep, if you ask questions about who you are to yourself and you go deeper into your own emotional realm, you'll get answers to questions that you never knew you had. You will figure out a lot more about who you are and how you tick. And then when you interact with other people, you will see the pattern that they don't even realize has already been conditioned in them. And you can see how they tick, which in turn will help you say, I see how I got to treat this person. It ain't about being rude and being nasty. It's just about knowing that they don't know. And it's my choice or my obligation to say, you know what, let me teach you. So you're not sitting here floundering, trying to figure it out. Yes, when you go into the deep, you might not be able to see. Sometimes you feel like you can't breathe. It might be hard and scary, but guess what? Like I said before, there's that light. Swim back up to that light. Catch your breath. See the land. You know it's still there. that makes you go so much more deeper into yourself, and it helps you figure out so much more around the world. I just want to ask people to, when you really have a conversation with someone and they're having something that makes you feel uncomfortable or it feels weird, ask questions. Why does it make you feel uncomfortable? Figure out why you're uncomfortable with a conversation that someone else is having that has absolutely nothing to do with you. And if it does have something to do with you, ask them why. Why is this a topic of discussion for you? What does it do for you to have these answers for me that really aren't real answers? They're just stigmas that you're placing to make you feel comfortable. Make people give you an answer. Make yourself give yourself an answer. Give yourself options. Make other people give themselves options. And then maybe we'll get to a center where being called a bitch and an asshole is not the epitome of cool, and being called a nice person and having a good heart is looked upon as weak or weird. I get sick of people saying, they're too happy, that's just weird. No. You're too sad right now to understand that your reflection is, I want that happiness, but I don't know how to get it or appreciate it. Get your answers, you'll get your life, I promise. Bezos.